The biggest lowerage or the biggest drop in the scandemic in the past 2 years was the travel industry. Look, being hit with mandates such as masks, testing, and vaccine rules, the industry was pretty much shut down for about a year. Cruise lines were the hardest hit when they stopped all sailing for about 15 months. Can you imagine your business being shut down, that multi-million, billion-dollar business being shut down for 15 months? The cruise industry, which saw its biggest years pre-scandemic, became a bottomless hole of cash being thrown into the sea without any income. Airlines and airports were closed or flew very empty planes during the time. But then things started to change. Mandates started to be challenged, and the CDC even started to ease up on the stupidity, and then the travel industry went nuts the other way. Travel bookings were up, and the companies started to cheer again. They were thinking that it would all return back to normal soon. Of course, now we have inflation and extreme fuel costs, and we are on the edge of a recession, so how is the industry really feeling? Well, I did a bunch of research on a bunch of articles, and every article I read says the same thing. All of the travel companies are feeling that bookings are up, and this is going to be their biggest summer yet. Recently, Biden removed the testing conditions to enter the country, and that's increased the number of visitors coming into the country. In my recent trip to Florida, the plane was full like it was in the past. Look, I gotta be honest, I haven't gone on a cruise lately. I used to go on 5 to 7 times a year. However, I've been seeing more and more people posting on social media about cruises they're taking. I'm also noticing more and more than I did before the show. I'm also noticing I'm noticing more stuff on Facebook than I noticed before the shutdowns. So why are these companies like Royal Caribbean, Carnival Cruise Lines, and airline stocks getting so beat up in the stock market? And by the way, I'm about to lose a lot of money on some stock option plays that I thought were no-brainers. But let's look at the perception, and let's look at the reality, and then we'll look at the reality. Hey, look, the perception is that the cruise lines and the airlines are going to be paying double for their fuel costs, and that will definitely hurt their bottom line. The other perception is that people will be spending less on discretionary items because of the probable recession. But let's look at the facts, right? The facts are the airlines have increased their prices, and when I looked at the prices for cruises, I noticed something interesting. They're no longer showing the full price for the trip. Instead, they're showing a per-night price. Why do you think they did this? Because they raised their prices to cover all the increased costs, and they're hiding it. It's brilliant. So the cruise lines, and by the way, I have to tell you that when I looked at it, it looks to me like there are at least 25% increases in cruise prices. The cruise lines and the hotels are stating that bookings are up, and they feel that this summer will be the hugest summer. This means that the average consumer is willing to and can currently afford increases in prices. The next issue is the testing for onboard cruises, right? Many don't want to be bothered with the testing. And I got to be honest, I don't want to be bothered with the testing either. And by the way, the best way, you do know the best way to never get COVID, right? The best way to never get COVID is never get tested. That's why I've never had COVID. Right? But anyway, can you imagine the annoyance of having to do that on cruises? Some of them did it every single day. Well, testing for COVID pre-board may soon be a thing of the past. Viking Cruise Lines announced yesterday that they are dropping all pre-testing requirements on board testing requirements, all the testing requirements that they had. This came after the announcement that the international travelers no longer need to get tested on an airplane. Look, I can't wait for the others to do the same thing, and I don't think it's going to be long. This can only be good for the industry as well. Also, last month, the CDC dropped its warning about cruise ships being the most dangerous place to be for COVID. Oh, wait, to make a long segment short, I see travel stocks that are so beaten down, and there's such great plays for over the next 2 years. Stock up on them and just hold them. Buy CCL, buy AAL, buy RCL. Close your eyes and open them in about 3 or 4 years, and you will be really, really happy. You know, we will have Carnival Cruise Lines releasing their earnings report next week, and this will be a signal for the rest of the travel stocks. If they did well and their guidance is great, expect a 30% pop on CCL. And if not, just don't look at it for a while. It's going to come back strong. I promise you, it's going to be great. These are great plays.